I am going to record it on YouTube, and it'll be on my YouTube link if you need to go back and watch it. I am going to record it, and I'll have an echo if I don't close that window. So here you go. So we're going to try this with the tablet and see if it works better. You guys let me know if you can't read my handwriting or something. So let's just work through a few examples. If we do the first one, you guys, we want to trace through this while loop what I is going to be after each iteration, right? So I is going to start off at 2. So the first time I is 2. It's going to go down and it's going to do a print. So it's going to print 2. Then it's going to add 2 to I, right? Is 2 plus 2 is 4. Is 4 less than or equal to 15? It is. So the second time through, I is now 4, and it's going to print 4. It's going to add the 2. 6 is less than 15, so it's going to do 6 and 6. And it's going to keep doing that until I is going to go all the way up to 16, but it's never going to print because you do the math inside of the loop. So when I is equal to 16, it goes up, checks it, and then it's going to say, this is not less than or equal to 15, and it's going to stop. So the order this runs in is this is step 1, then it does step 2, 3, 4, and then back to 2. I almost can draw an arrow. Does that make sense? This is what I was trying to do the other day, and when the projector and the pens didn't like me. Does that help? All right, so let's pick another one. Erasing's not super fast this way, but hey, we do what we can do. Which one do you want me to do next? Yes, we did 3. Let's do one of the, we did 5 too, didn't we? Let's talk about it again just to make sure we got it. So the first thing you have to notice on 5 is you've got the if statement. So the first thing you got to do is you got to resolve this. Oops, helps you go back to the pen and not the eraser. So we want to resolve the if statement. So it either is going to be the top branch or the bottom branch, right? So when we go through it, I is equal to 30. 30 is greater than 10. That's true. But wait a minute, I got a plus over here. So we're going to want to do the math first. So we're going to do this first. So 10 plus 10 is 20. 30 is still greater than 20. So we're going to do this branch. This gets ignored. Right? So if we go through it now, up here, I is going to change as we go through the loop. J is not changed anywhere, so I'm not going to have to track it. And it is going to print some stuff. So the first time through, I is going to be equal to 30 still. So 30 minus 10 is 20. Right? And it's going to print out 20. 20 is greater than 20? No, so it doesn't do anything else. So all this long, elaborate piece of code did was run the loop one time. Questions? That's it. That's all it does.
So, question, so for number one, if, 14,
No, the I will go to 16, but it will only print up to 14. So you want me to do it one more time?
Yeah, please.
All right.
I think I got mine involved.
So if I have I over here and print over here, it's going to start at 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 15. And so it's going to come down here and print the 2. You got to do the printing before you do the adding. Does that make sense? And then, so now I is equal to 4. 4 comes up here. 4 is less than or equal to 15. That's true. So I'm coming in here and I'm going to print the 4. And I'm going to do that all the way down. Let's say we get to 12. 12 plus 2. 12 plus 2 is 14. 14 is less than or equal to 15. So the 14 prints. 14 plus 2 is 16. We do actually get to 16 for our I, but now 16, when you run the test, is greater than 15. So the print never happens. It just stops.
So what I did wrong was 2, and I went ahead and solved the problem. And I printed out the I. So I 2 plus 2 is 4. I printed 4.
Yeah, but you got to remember order of operations. You have to do this step first, then this, then this, then this, and then back. Oops, follow on, back to the while. Mhm. But it does it after the print. Now, if it was for the print, like in this one, where it's doing the math first, then they won't match, right? The I, what I value is and what printing, it won't match because it did the math before it did the printing. So, let's see, what else we got? Another if. I was looking for a nested loop. Bottom. All right. So nested for loops, right? They're a little harder because you got to keep up with 2 loops. So if we do nested loops, we're going to keep up with more than one variable. So in this one, we got the variable K. We also have the variable M, and then what we're printing. Right? My pen was going so good until I got confident with it. So we start off with the outer loop first. So this is 1. We're going to go in here. We're going to set K up. K is going to start at 1. 1 is less than or equal to 2. That's true. So we're going to go to the inner for loop. That's M. M is equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 3. So we're going to jump down here and do our print. So we're going to print 1 space 1. Right? But the next step is we're still in this loop. So we got to go back to here. We're incrementing by 1 because it's a for loop. So now M is equal to 2. A hasn't changed. And we're printing 1 space 2. And we'll do it again. Now M is 3. 3 is less than or equal to 3. That's true. K hasn't changed still, so we're printing 1 space 3. Now we add 1 to M, and it's 4. 4 is greater than 3, so we jump out of there and we go up to K. Now we add 1 to K. M resets to 1, and we print 2 space 1. Following me?
It's not gonna work.
It is. We're in here. It started over at 1. Okay. Different color. So once we jump out of this loop, we did this 3 times, right? 1, 2, 3. Now M is when M becomes 4, we exit this loop and go back up to here. That is not what I wanted. Different color.
So you start off with K. So K was 1.
Mhm.
And then 1 is less than 2.
Mhm.
So K.
We don't do anything with the plus plus until after we run the stuff inside. So in a for loop, you do this step first, the second, third.
So where is M?
M is part of the third step. So it's gonna go 1, 2, okay, that's true. So now I'm gonna go evaluate this. So this becomes step 4. This becomes step 5, this becomes step 6, this becomes step 7.
Okay.
And then once this hits 3, step 8 is to go back up here. And we start all over again.
Okay, so the 1.
Mhm.
Then I go. And then
So, yeah, when M is 1, you print. Then you add 1 to M, and you go back to your M's. So,
because it's like the first one is like 1.
yeah,
So it's like the M is 3.
the M is going to change 3 times for every time the K changes. So K stays 1 for 3 iterations of M. K goes to 2 for 3 iterations of M. So if we go back over to our chart over here, we would continue printing. This would stay 2 for all of these. And now this kicks out of the inner loop, goes back up here, adds 1 to K, and now K is less than or equal to 3, and it's not working anymore. So both loops stop. So when you're doing nested loops, the internal loop is going to run significantly more times than the external loop. For every 1 time the external loop runs, the internal loop is going to run all of its times. So if the internal loop runs 3 times, for every K, it will run all 3 times. Remember back in Python when we did the pictures? For every row, every time the for loop moved a row, it had to do each pixel in that column. So the internal loop ran thousands of times compared to the hundreds of times that the external loop ran. Following me?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do another one. Let's try a nested while loop. So it has an X and a Y. And it's going to keep up with, and it's also going to do some printing, right? So X is going to start off as 1. While X is less than or equal to 5, so 1 is less than or equal to 5. Sum is going to equal to 0, so I need to keep up with sum. Let's put sum out here. Y is equal to 1, right? While Y is less than or equal to X, so 1 is less than or equal to 1, that's true, right? Sum is going to add Y. Y is going to add 1. And then it's going to go up in the while loop again. Is Y is 2 greater than or equal to 1? No, so it doesn't run again. So it jumps down here to print, and it's going to print 1 and a space. And X goes to 2. X goes to 2, it jumps back up here. And now 2 is greater than, is less than or equal to 5. And we do the whole thing again. And we walk through each step one more time. Sum is equal to 0. Y is equal to 1. Right? While Y is less than or equal to X. So 1 is less than 2. So we're going to do sum is equal to Y. X is 2, right? Y is, it changed into 2. We're going to go up to the while again. Now circle back. 2 is less than or equal to 2. True. So sum becomes sum plus Y. So now it's 3. Y is adding 1 to it. So it's also 3. 3 is less than or equal to X. No. So we stop. We go down and we print 3 and a space. Right? And then we add 1 to X, which would make it 4. See, this is why I tell y'all that you should write these things down. Does that make sense, what I'm doing? Brain work, yeah. Questions? All right, so I just changed X to 4. What's next?
4 less than equal to 5.
Mhm.
So,
Right,
y,
right.
well, y, I mean, 1 is less than 4.
Right.
So then we do y plus plus, so that's 2. Now y. We go back up. Y.
And you're just gonna keep going through, right?
So
I hope to goodness that y'all never write code that looks like this, because this is really redundant and unnecessary, right? So if you're looking at this code, what's screaming at you that is a really bad idea? You're resetting these variables every time you go through the loop. And I don't know if that's what most of the time that's not what you intend. Most of the time you don't want it to reset itself. You want some to keep totaling up, right? For education purposes, this gives you a challenge right now, the t-tables for it, but it's not good coding practice to have variables reset themselves to a default value inside of your loop. Because if you were trying to get a total sum after all these ran, you're not getting it because sum resets itself. That makes sense? So as far as I'm concerned, this is a bad style issue. This whole thing right here should have been rethought and this loop handled differently. It's a great educational tool. It's poor coding. Does that make sense? All right, let's see. So I'm not going to write the whole thing out, but if you've got 3 loops, the inner loop is going to run significantly more times than the second loop. The second loop is going to run significantly more times than the first loop. So it looks like in this one is going to go twice. All right. J is going to go 1. Because J starts off at 1. Oh wait, no, it's I. That's not a 1. I should put my glasses on. So this one's a little trickier because I is going to change. So you're going to have a lot. This one's going to run. It's kind of like those Russian nesting dolls. It's going to keep running every time the outer one runs. This is where if you aren't really careful, you'll end up with an infinite loop because your variables are advancing they're advancing beyond where you want them to. So you have to think it through very carefully. Write it out, draw tables. So this last one down here, probably not. This one you have to keep up with I, J, and K, right? So just to give you one run through of it, just to show you an idea. So I is 3. Well, I is 3, I is greater than 0. Okay, so we're going to move into the J. J is equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 3. So we're going to keep moving into K now. K is equal to I. I is 3, so K is 3. So 3 is less than J, or greater than or equal to J. Yes. So now we print. So we're going to print 3 space 1 space 3. Right? We say down here, we're going to go back up to here. After we print, we're going to go to that for loop. Now K is 2. 2 is greater than 1. So K changed to 2. J stayed to 1. I is still 3. And we're going to print 3, 1, 2. And now K goes to 1. J didn't change. I didn't change. We're going to print 3, 1, 1. Right? Now, K is now 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to J? No. So now we jump back to this one. So now we're going to start back. This one didn't run. Now we start back and we're going to go I is still 3, because we haven't touched it. J is now 2, right?
Right.
2 is less than or equal to 3. So we hit K. K resets itself to I. Because when you start over with K, you have to reset it. So then we're going to do 3, 2, 2. So it's going to be 3, 2. Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on a second. My brain got 3, 2, 3. Right? This one will be 3, 2, 2. This goes to 1. Zero. Guess what? Now we're going to go add 1 to J. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. I stopped them on earlier. So since we're comparing it to J, once K becomes less, once the third column becomes less than the second column, it stops. So even I get confused. I've been doing this for 30 years. Literally been doing this for 30 years.
Is it like a easier way to write that for you?
No. Oh, well, yeah, there may be, but I don't know what it is because I don't know what it's trying to accomplish.
Okay.
You've just been given a snippet of code that you have no idea what I, J, and K are supposed to be doing. Could there be easier ways to do it? Absolutely.
Right.
It might not be shorter code, but it might make more sense to you to do it separately. So now we've done J up to 2. Yeah, now we're at 3, 3, 3. Right? So J is now 3. 3 is less than or equal to 3. So it's going to do it one more time. Except this time, when K goes to 2, it stops because it's not greater than or equal to J, right? So the inner loop only ran one time that time. Mine is blown at this point, right? So now we jump back up to J. J adds 1 to it and it's 4. Is 4 less than I? 4 less than I, less than or equal to I? No. So it's going to jump out of there too and go all the way back up to I. For the first time, we're going to change I. And once I change I, we basically are going to repeat all of these steps again. And every time I changes, you're going to do that many steps. Yep. So make sure I want to go write nested loops with nested loops with nested loops, right?
Oh, definitely.
So I find a lot of uses for 2 loops nested inside of each other. You'll see a lot of uses for double loops, especially when you're doing 2D arrays. You will also see 3D arrays using that third nested loop because you have to go in another dimension. But only if you're doing graphics are you probably going to do a lot of 3D arrays. Now, if you're into video gaming and stuff, you're going to do some matrices and some 3D stuff, you're gonna have to learn how loops work, because there's a lot. All right, does that help? So what I want you guys to do, I didn't do them all, I did some samples of them, right? I want you to do the rest of them yourself. I'm going to make an answer sheet and I'll post it up probably Thursday, maybe Friday, because I want you to actually do it yourself and not just look at the answer sheet. And then on Monday, I'm going to turn on a little quiz over it. But I want to make sure I make an announcement in Moodle to the online students that it's coming, what it's over, post this video where everybody can see it and have a couple of days to answer questions. Now, that being said, there will be no class in person on Thursday. I have to go work this Thursday. I have to go work a conference where we're promoting the computer science degree programs to education majors. So I'm gonna go do that and talk to some of the teachers about getting certified to teach computer science. If you need me, email me. And let me know if you need any help. I'm gonna try to do this tonight, fingers crossed, and get the answer key ready, so that way I'll be able to post to Moodle. But you have all of Thursday's class period with no excuses for why you can't do the rest of them. Or at least attempt them. That will give, that way you'll have a few days to do it, look at the answer key, send me emails, and then on Monday I'll open the quiz and give you a few days to take it. I like plans. I like it when a plan comes together. Y'all are not old enough to get that quote. All right.